I wrote it, I was very sad. I'm very angry about being sad. And to me that song's about it's about, you know, the surrealists like Jean-Paul Sartre, those folks understood that there is a void in life. There is a hole here. People are always trying to fill it with love, with drugs, with booze, with sex, whatever. They're trying to fill it, right? Never with internal, it's always something external to come in. Well, they recognize that yes, there is a void and that we must fill it. We must fill this void. So that's the intention of that song, to recognize the void and then fill it. But you fill it with yourself. The healing aspect of discarding the barbed wire of insecurities. Those things, those anchors that keep us tethered from living out the life that we all deserve. And that's what empty is. Yes.
I call myself an inspiring poet also. And I was just wondering, like, if you have any, like, you probably get this all the time, but if you have any, like, advice for poetry.
Sure. First advice is try to not say like in every sentence. That is, I'll tell you why. I was sitting with one of the greatest writers, I'll tell you, if you like science fiction, Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison is the kind of writer that I wish, and kind of activist and person that I wish I could be. He was on Nixon's blacklist. He spoke out in the civil rights movement. He went to Kent State after the Kent State massacre when the National Guard fired on students and murdered them. But I was sitting at dinner with him because luckily enough a friend of mine introduced me to him, and I was sitting at dinner with him, and I said, he said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing pretty good." And then he asked me another question, and I said something like, I don't know, something. And then he reached across the table, and this is a 7-year-old man who's still as fiery as these days. He grabbed me by my shirt. He's like, "Don't say that. Don't say like in the middle of a sentence when you don't mean the word like." And I said, "Okay." He said, "What you mean to say is Say is acceptable." So, okay. I'm trying my best to stay now. But again, I would try to find writers that speak to you. Absorb them. Absorb the soul. That's a good writer isn't stingy, isn't selfish. A good writer wants to share their soul with the world, to hopefully inspire other folks to be better than they are. It's like a parent that wants their kid to be better than them, you know? I guess I feel like I'm doing my job if I inspire someone, if I motivate someone. I don't know, people say, what's the meaning of art? Well, if it inspires, motivates, or provokes, then I think it's art. If it doesn't do anything to you, then maybe it's advertising or something, you know, it's a leaflet, I don't know. But try to find writers that speak to you. You know, go to the poetry section. My worst habit is buying because of the cover. You know, I like, the cover looks great, and I'll buy it, and then I'll go home and read it, and I'm like, this is garbage, what is this thing I've got? See? But at the same time, you're learning bad writing. You know, learning what not to do is sometimes as good as learning what to do. But I think finding style that speaks to you, a similar writer, read that writer, learn what you can about them, and then read, and like I said, keep seeding the soil. That's what and then write as much as you can, and accept the fact that you will probably have a pile of papers this high that you've torn up and thrown away, and that's acceptable. It is that for me, it is finding that one word that completes the poem that is so gratifying to me, that is so satisfying. That one word, the one moment when everything ties together. It's not really the process of the whole thing, but it's that one piece. So. Good luck to you. Keep writing, keep reading. Read more, you write. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and when I'm reading your books, I notice you change your spelling of certain words a lot. Human, women, I, words, friends. Is there a significance of that?
On the first record, I did it a lot in the spirit of Ginsberg, because Ginsberg did that. He would interchange words so that you'd keep your mind at sort of a dis-ease. Not really ever comfortable in the reading of it, so that you were always thinking about what was being read, and you couldn't just skim over it. You actually had to process. She used the word I for the meaning I, so I have to process that now. So it was that kind of a trick. And all these like haters are like, she can't spell. What are you saying? Dude, I can spell, but you know. Women, I sometimes choose to take out WOMAN because that means from man. And all fetuses begin from a female template. That is the reason why you boys have nipples, because everyone starts out female. And so it's really the opposite. Female is the beginning. And then once you go through the whole process of the certain proteins and so forth, decide which sex it's going to be, you're left with that. Because nipples really serve only one purpose, earmuffs, aside from the other purpose. But the main purpose is feeding young. So the idea here is that, yeah, so I do that because I feel like sometimes women, again, we don't recognize our own. And it isn't hating on my brothers at all. It's just the fact that you can see sociology, but hello, you can see sociology in any toy store. You go into a toy store and look at the boys' toys. Hello. You go to a toy store, you see what the toys are for boys, and look what toys are for girls. And sometimes they're the same toys, but those toys are listed as, for boys, maybe it's some sort of a daily planner or something, and it's like a power planner, and for the girls, it's like a shopping planner. We're sort of mechanized to be servants in some ways. So I'm just saying, if that's what you want to do, if that's who you want to be, fine. But understand that there is something else out there. I get a lot of flack because of that position. I'm a feminist. I believe in equality for women, not the superiority of women. Although, come on. But I actually won an award for that. I was for Menticide, actually, for writing Menticide, which is against domestic violence. It stands against female circumcision in certain parts of Northern Africa and the Sub-Sahara. It's against all sorts of physical violence against women, and this men's group, conservative men's group, came after me and they called me Psychopath of the Century. So thank you. I'd like to thank all those folks out there that helped me write that song. I don't understand what they're against, because aren't those things bad things? Domestic violence, bad things, that's bad, right? It's not a good thing to be celebrated. But they didn't say anything about Eat the Children, which is about mothers who murder their kids or who abuse their children either. So the hypocrisy there is just nuts. Can't win or lose sometimes. You just got to follow your own beliefs and stand up for what you believe in, and understand maybe sometimes you make a mistake, but other than that, you're great. Yes?
What inspired you to write You're a Woman Now?
Oh, You're a Woman Now. Well, several things. One, I wanted to write a song that was desperately sad, but was confusing because it was so pretty. I wanted to write a song that seemed beautiful. I tried my best to write a song that was beautiful, deceptively beautiful, because it really approached such really dark topics. And one of them was the first song is the first verse is about date rape, and about the loss of innocence, about finally finding someone that you really like, and then they turn out to be the most terrible person you've ever met. The second verse is about child brides, which happens to this day, still in certain parts of the world, where women as young as 8 are married off to 50-year-old men. And also there was a bit of the female circumcision attached to that. They cracked the crown to pluck the pearl here on the jagged edge of the world. And then the third verse was and that's what some people think. You become a woman when you lose your virginity, or if you get married, you're a woman. Doesn't matter if you're 8, doesn't matter if it's forced, you're a woman. And then the third verse, I wanted to sort of proclaim what I think being a woman is, and I was taught that by my mother. And that is being an independent person, that is being someone who thinks for themselves and who fights for what they believe in, and puts their responsibilities and their life first over their own silly sort of accessories. And my mom, I remember, being with my mother in the welfare line. I remember her holding me, and I know, you can tell when you're a kid, you can tell certain things. And one of those things I could tell was that she was a little embarrassed, that she was ashamed to be there, but she had to be there. We needed it. We needed the money. We needed help. And I remember her just looking at me and saying, we're going to get through this. And we're going to get out of this. No matter what I have to do, we're going to get a good place. We're going to get a better place to live, because we live in not such a great place. And she did that. she got us out of there. And she's responsible for, you know, the success of my family from like my generation on, because her generation before was tough, and it has to start somewhere. And she, out of everyone else in our family, she decided she was going to be the one to make that change, to make that difference, and she did it. And so I wanted to show my gratitude to her, so I wrote that song for my mom. So all right. Well, again, thank you guys so much, everybody, for coming out. Sorry about the wait, but I appreciate everybody being here. You can follow me on Twitter if you like. I post a lot of nonsense, so if you don't like to get a lot of nonsense, then don't follow me. But if you guys have anything for me to sign or anything, I'll be willing to sign. But then I'm gonna let you guys get back to your lives. But thanks so much for coming out. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.